I was born in the USSR, Part 3. Hello comrades, and welcome back to the Ushanka Show. We're going to continue our journey through 1970s, life in Kiev, Ukraine, former Soviet Union. Right now, little Seryoja running up and down the stairs, happy as a clam, and his young parents working 2 jobs, trying to figure out how to get to the next level and get their own apartment. After the last video, I received a question about how did the system work, how the people were supposed to get apartments if you couldn't purchase one. Well, in order to get an apartment for free, you had to get a job at the factory or some other place and sign up on a waiting list, which could be from 5 to 10 to 20 to 30 years, depending on the place of your work. So when people were looking for jobs back then in Soviet Union, they didn't really care much about how much they get paid, because pretty much it was very similar pay across the board, around 100 to 150 rubles. But some places had a shorter list, waiting list for the apartment, so that's the place that you want to work for. I remember my mom telling me a story. After arrival to Kiev from her village from northern Ukraine, she found a brick factory that had only 5 years on the waiting list to get an apartment. So she was very excited, but she was told that she will have to work night shifts, 12-hour night shifts, making bricks at this factory. And she managed to handle only one night shift, and that didn't work really well for her. She realized this job was way too hard, way too dangerous. It was pretty much manual labor, hauling hot bricks all night long non-stop, and she quit the next morning. So my mother switched several jobs. She worked for a while in the kitchen at the kindergarten, and it was a nice and easy job. All you do is just cook for kids, and of course you have some free food, but there was no waiting list period. I mean, you couldn't get apartment working for kindergarten. So she ended up working for the construction company, and still for 5 years was no progress at all on the waiting list. And I was growing tall, and as I mentioned in my previous video, my father ended up cutting the hole in my baby crib so I have enough room for my legs. And my mom grew so desperate, so she ended up asking for the meeting with the boss of that construction company, which, still state-owned company, and she just broke in tears and describing the desperate condition of our family, and submitted the paper, заявление, like request for the apartment, and miracle happened. In 1976, we got our own tiny apartment called Gostinka. It's like a studio apartment, really small, with tiny kitchen and tiny bathroom, but that was a huge improvement comparing with sharing the room with the other family in the dorms. It was a brand new construction, 9-story high building with about 20 apartments on every level. And I remember that we came to check it out, our new apartment, and by mistake we went to the wrong door, and we looked at this beautiful, nice, big apartment with the balcony, and we all were so excited just to find out about half an hour later that actually our apartment is across the hallway, and it's way smaller and has no balcony. But still, we were super excited. Apartment was on the first floor, which was okay, and it was a nice, quiet location, not far away from our original dorms. So thanks to my mom's persistence, we moved pretty quickly, because many families were staying in the dorms for over 10 years, and we ended up moving out in just 5 years. At that time, my parents purchased their first big item for their family was the brand new refrigerator Dnieper 2, which looks now to me like tiny fridge, but that thing still works. We still use it almost 50 years later. We never had any issues with it. It was just nice, well-built, small refrigerator, which we moved from one place to another. In late May of 1972, I had my very first big trip. My family went up north to the village where my mom was from originally and where my grandparents lived. We helped them. Well, my parents did. I didn't help at all because I was only like 9 months old. But my parents helped them to plant potatoes, which is always a big deal. It's a lot of hard manual labor to prepare the fields and plant potatoes. And after that, my mom stayed with me in the village for a couple of weeks, and then she left me with her parents, with my grandpa Maria and my grandfather Sergey, and I spent there the whole summer with my mom and my dad coming to visit every 2 weeks or so. My grandma was retired by then, and she took care of me, although, as you may know, in Soviet Union they didn't have diapers, and my grandma really didn't want to bother with paper. It's not a paper, it was the cloth diapers, so she just made, I call it Russian diaper. She just cut the hole on the bottom of my pants, and this is how I was playing outside, chasing chickens, and doing my business through the hole in my pants. And I'll tell you more about my grandparents and their story, but will be my next video. Thank you. Goodbye.